Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, Q Nostalgia here, and welcome to my review for Survival, the latest DLC for The Division. My goal here is to give you guys enough information where you can decide whether or not it's worth the $15 by the end of this video. I'm going to do my best to keep this as short as possible. I've noticed a lot of people have made videos that go on for like 15-20 minutes. I want to give you guys the essentials. I want you to know what this is and if it's worth it for you to buy it. First of all, this is a $15 DLC. This is a completely separate game mode. It has nothing to do with the original game. You spawn in with nothing. You do carry stuff out, so I can't say it doesn't have anything to do with it. If you get out and you're successful, or you have some sort of success, even if you fail, you will come out with gear. But this is not a primary way to farm gear, and at least not at first. When you first start doing it, you're going to get wrecked. Now, once you get good at it, if you're willing to invest the time to get good at it, yes, you can farm weapons here and gear here pretty easily. You get a lucrative amount of stuff if you can get out of here. I'm told the maximum amount of caches you can get from this is 15, and there's more than one item in each one of these, so it quickly becomes worth your time if you're willing to invest the time in getting good at it, and you can deal with the fact that you're not always going to be successful. You can queue up for this by yourself, you can queue up in a pre-made, you can queue up to try to find a group, you can do PvP, and you can do PvE. So there are a lot of options here, and to be quite honest with you, these options very much change how the game plays. If you queue up for PvP by yourself, you can just imagine how brutal that's going to be. You are going to come across pre-mades. They tell you that they're trying not to do that. They're trying to have other pre-mades matched up with other pre-mades, but we know how that works in these games. It's not going to happen. So if you're really adventurous and you want to try to be stealthy and you want that really hard push to the extraction, then queue by yourself in PvP. But I can tell you right now, if you queue by yourself in PvE, it's going to be tough as nails as well. That's primarily how I've been playing. Solo PvE, and I'm trying to cut down on the time to get into the extraction as fast as I can. So I'm kind of playing a race against myself. The point I'm trying to illustrate here is that there really is something for everyone. Now, if you want to go in with just one of your friends, you can go in just duo style, and you're going to do a lot better because you can get each other up, you can cover each other, and for the most part, I find that that's really easy mode. If you go in with a pre-made group, especially into PvE, you're just going to zerg through it, and it's really not that fun. I try to push myself as far as I can, and to do things that are crazy. Like when I start out, I'll run into a zone that I know I shouldn't be in yet. But at the same time, everything that I gather is really lucrative, and I get to jump ahead. I don't have to worry about blue gear. I can go straight for purple gear. Survival is all about choices, risks versus reward. When you spawn in, there's a helicopter crash that you can go to, but everybody else is going to be going there too, and there's some pretty tough enemies in there. Do you want to do that, or do you want to play it safe and maybe just scavenge around shops and whatnot, trying to gear up as you go little by little? That's one of the things that really makes this stand out, and one of the reasons why I think people love Battle Royale in general, because there are those high-risk areas. There are those easier areas where you can get away with maybe not encountering players as much, and that's certainly something that's in this DLC. Now to talk about precisely how it is the world is trying to kill you. You're going to zone in with green items, you have nothing but a pistol, and you're dying of sepsis. Essentially what this is it's the 1 through 30 content through the Division in about the span of an hour. If that sounds really brutal and chaotic, it's because it is. Now, not only are you tasked with getting to the center of the map and being properly geared up by the time you get there, but you also have sepsis, and it's going to kill you in about an hour. Now, there are medications you can take to kind of push this back, and at first it's going to be really scary. You're going to see that and think, man, I don't know if I can do this in an hour. After a while, it becomes a non-issue. Even for the most part, first-time players, you're going to come across enough medication and not worry about this. The real threat here is the cold, because you're going to freeze to death so fast. If you don't get yourself some warm clothing, you're going to go from fire barrel to fire barrel. You're going to spend way too much time trying to stay warm. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get some fabric, get into one of the safe houses, and craft yourself some warm stuff. That's the first priority here, folks. All of the aesthetic items that you've been using to customize your character with, these are now going to save your life. If it looks warm, it is warm. If you wear a hat, it's not going to give you that much protection, but if you put a beanie on, you're going to warm up a lot faster. So you can kind of go off of that, but everything has a cold meter, a cold rating on it, and it'll show you how warm you get from using it. Now, in terms of food and drink, what food does is it allows you to regenerate your health, because if you get hungry in this game mode, and that's going to happen very quickly, you don't regenerate health in between battles. This becomes absolutely lethal after about 5 minutes. So you're going to want to make sure you've always got food on you. When you do eat this food, don't eat it immediately. If you get hurt, eat it when you get hurt because it doesn't last too long. So you want those regenerative effects on you after you have already taken the damage. Now, drinks on the other hand, these are very important. Soda and water, this is going to allow you to see items in the world that you otherwise might not see. It allows you to see them from a distance, through walls, through floors, and hey, there's a blizzard outside. It's kind of hard to see stuff. So drinking water, drinking soda, extremely important. It's something that you're going to want to do when you're scavenging. I wouldn't recommend drinking it right away. Some people will say yes, drink it immediately. But I like to use it in areas where I know there's a good concentration of items. If you have water on you and you have more than enough, go ahead and drink it. But I like to save it for when I'm in scavenge mode. One of the tendencies that people have in this game is just kind of wander everywhere and grab everything that they can. I wouldn't recommend playing like this. I know I'm kind of leaning more towards the side of a guide than a review here, but I'll just tell you guys, some of the best strategies that I have personally found is to go deep into the city, use the water, and then just kind of skip over the blue stuff and just try to go for purple stuff immediately. Now, the ultimate goal here is you want to try to craft a filter so that you can get into the dark zone. That way you can find the antivirals, you can craft yourself a flare gun, go to the extraction, pop that off, and get the hell out of Dodge. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. You don't have to get the antivirals. You don't have to craft the flare gun. You can just go to the extraction and piggyback off of other people. But then again, you're relying on them at that point. It's something that, do you really want to do that? Like I said, it's all about choices. There are many choices. There are many experiences to be had with survival, and that's the biggest thing to note. And I think SkillUp said it best when he said that survival's all about the experiences. It's all about the stories that you come away with. Oh shit, that one time that we went in there and this happened. And that's really what it's all about. If you're in there for the gear, probably not the best thing. Like I said, it is viable, but this is about the experience. How much can you get away with? How far can you take this? Can you get away? Can you go for the chopper and not get killed by other players? Is it going to be worth your while? Now, I forgot to mention that this is a 24-player game mode, and everybody's going to spawn on the outside of the map and start to gradually push their way towards the middle. You're going to have a random spawn. You don't know where you're going to be spawning in the world, so you can't really come up with too much of a strategy right away unless you know the map very well. And even if you do know the map very well just by playing the game for the past year or so, you're going to find that in the middle of a blizzard, it's still really easy to get lost. You can barely see across the street, and that's one of the coolest things about this game mode is that they did take pre-existing areas, but they have changed them to reflect a blizzard. You're going to see trucks turned over. You're going to see ice coming from places where it wasn't before. So it's been changed. Some areas are foggy. Some areas are just absolutely brutal with the wind. And it seems like it comes in and out a little bit. But when you get into the DZ, you're going to find that it's a lot calmer in there. You can see a lot easier, but the enemies can also see you easier. Now, in terms of crafting, this is where the majority of this game mode really takes place. You have to craft a filter just to get into the dark zone. You can craft an advanced filter to go into more contaminated areas and get more lucrative loot. You're going to need it if you want to go into the DZ to get division tech so that you can craft the best gear in that mode. I can tell you right now, you're probably not going to be crafting golds for a while. It's most likely going to be purples, and it is viable. You can do it with purples, but one of the biggest things to note here is that you have to craft your skills. You don't even start with those. So yeah, gathering and crafting, huge part of this game mode. Now, in terms of what skills you want to be bringing with you, and this again is leaning on the side of a guide, but you guys really should know this. You're going to want to go with Pulse. That's usually what I get. I get Pulse and I use the turret. The turret is really good at tanking down enemies or distracting them so that you don't take damage. Again, you don't regenerate over time. You have to have food on you to do this. So the less you get hurt, obviously, the better. It goes without saying. Other good skills to consider is obviously going to be heal. It's all about survivability after all, and the ballistic shield. So if you want to bring those in concert with each other, that's going to help with survivability, and that means a lot. But I will warn you right now, when you get into the extraction area and one of those hunter spawns, he can heal himself. He doesn't have a lot of health. He's a single bar enemy. But he's going to get away from you. He's going to run. He's going to fall back, try to heal himself, pop a heal station. You got to put the pressure on this bastard or he's not going to go down in time for you to get out of there. In a PvP situation, if you're in there fighting him, people can come up behind you, kill you, take him out, take your stuff, and they've got a double, triple win, and you're left sitting there holding your dick, dead on the ground, waiting for someone to get you up while people laugh at you. You don't want that kind of a situation. So you want to be able to burn him down as quickly as possible and get the hell out of there. So there you have it, folks. I can go on and on, but I've already surpassed 10 minutes, and I'm starting to see why people talk about this for 15, 20 minutes. It's a lot of fun. It really is, and it's something that I think the Division needed a long time ago. I remember playing the beta and thinking, man, looting all of this clothing, I wish I had to stay warm. And looting all of this food and all this drink, I wish I had to actually consume this stuff. And that was, like I said, back in the beta. So this is something that the Division really should have been from the beginning. It wasn't, but that's okay, because you know what? We've got it now, and it's a lot of fun, and I certainly think that it's worth the $15 entry fee. But right now, I want to kick it over to you guys. What do you think of this DLC? What do you think of this video? Did you come here as a skeptic, maybe? Did it change your mind, and you're reaching for your wallet frantically to get this? Do you guys want to see me make a guide on this in the future? If you do, let me know, and please remember to hit that like button. I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.